Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think review, and this is actually the fourth surprise final part of my 2019 B&M mega review, because they have arrived today, the Big Finish exclusive variants of the B&M Big Finish sets. Now, at the time I'm recording this on the Tuesday, and also you're going to be seeing this tomorrow on the Wednesday, I don't believe the B&M versions of the Big Finish sets are in stores yet. They may be by the time you watch this video when you get around to it, but at the time of recording and the time this video goes out, they're not in stores yet. They will be at some point, I believe. I don't have any ideas. I have no connections or official connections with character options or B&M or anything, so I can't advise on when they're going to come out. But these are the Big Finish exclusive variants that were sold through the Big Finish website. They sold out within just under half an hour because they were limited to 150 bundles only, so they sold out incredibly quickly. I'm very pleased that I've managed to get hold of these. I would just like to make a very quick point, and I apologise if this sounds a bit stern and serious, but it is a point that I want to make. Obviously these did sell out very quickly. There wasn't a huge fanfare about their release. Big Finish really just sort of said, hey, they're here now. A lot of people are very annoyed and angry that they missed out on getting these, but here's the thing, they were limited to 150 bundles only. The chances are that the reason Big Finish didn't make a big fanfare about it is because they didn't want people hanging around, reloading, crashing the website. And it's also the fact that they were limited to one per customer as well, one bundle per customer. It was first come, first serve. That's the bottom line. If you missed out on it, it's just the luck of the draw. And personally, I would have missed out on these because I literally just happened to have the good fortune that I was on Twitter and I saw that Big Finish had tweeted, hey, they're in stock now. If I'd missed that by 20 minutes, I would have missed out on getting these. So, you know, if you are annoyed and angry that you missed out on these, don't take it out on the people that were lucky enough to get them, and don't take it out on Big Finish. They were exclusive for a reason, and if you missed out on them, I'm sorry, but it's the luck of the draw. And also, I and many others were lucky enough to get the chance to review those sets in advance, and I and others were lucky enough to be able to afford these sets when these were released. We didn't get given these Big Finish ones. We've bought these with our own money. So if you're annoyed at people who have been lucky enough to get the proper sets and now have the collector's sets, again, we've been lucky enough to be able to get these sets because we were there at the right time, at the right moment, and we were just lucky enough to get in on the draw. So I'm sure some people are going to turn around and say to me and others who've got the B&M advanced sets and also these sets, well, it's incredibly greedy of you to have them all. But again, it's the luck of the draw. I'm not going to apologise for being lucky enough to be able to have all these things. So if it is something that does really bug you and really annoy you, then please feel free to keep that opinion to yourself. Don't hate other people for having the luck to catch something that you missed out on, alright? It's not our fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just the way things work. But let's get past that. I wanted to say that because I know it's going to come up in the videos because it's come up before and I've seen this attitude already on Twitter. But let's actually get into looking at these figures. Now, obviously these are incredibly rare, so I have no intentions of actually unboxing these. So I'm going to review them through the box, but I'm going to use the standard B&M ones as a sort of example to compare them through the box. So we're going to start off with the 7th Doctor and Axis Strike Squad Dalek. Okay, so here we have the 7th Doctor and Axis Strike Squad Dalek set. Now this is the Big Finish exclusive version. This is the one that has sold out now completely. This is the standard B&M variant on the right. Now rest assured, as I said, these ones, at the time you're watching this, at the time I'm recording it and the time this video goes live, I don't think these are going to be in stores, but these will be in stores in B&M in future. These are 150 each. These ones have sold out, they're gone, but these are available in B&M in their thousands. And very quickly, having a look over all the sets, I will say that the variations on the Big Finish ones are extremely minor. So unless you are absolutely completely dead set on getting one that is the biggest difference, if I'm perfectly honest, aside from the figures, is this Big Finish sticker. So unless you're absolutely really set on getting these Big Finish ones, I'm going to be perfectly honest, you're not really missing out on a huge amount by not getting these, because what you're getting in here, you're still very much getting in here, and we're going to take a look over that in detail now. So the box itself, the Big Finish box, is exactly the same as the standard one. There is literally no difference in the box. The only difference on the box is, rather than the limited edition gold logo, which is on the B&M ones, this one has the Big Finish special release. And while I'm here raising this, I will make a point of saying that the special edition, the limited edition gold sticker on the boxes, on the B&M ones, I'm going to be perfectly honest, that doesn't really mean anything. I've seen some people saying like, oh, well, you know, it says it's a limited edition, you know, there's only so many of them. And it's, yes, there's true, there is only so many of them, but there are so many thousands of them. The gold sticker for the B&M ones was at the request of B&M. It doesn't really technically mean, if I'm perfectly honest, that it's a limited edition. If you see this Big Finish sticker here, that's the one that means it's a limited edition. So this is the one you've really got to look out for. But overall, as I said, other than that, the box is exactly the same. Now, the Dalek, I've had a quick look. I'm perfectly honest, the Dalek is absolutely identical. As far as I can see, there are no changes in the Dalek at all. It's still got all the same gold. The black is still the matte black. And the eye, I don't know how well you can see it from this angle. I'll try and get it as close to the camera as I can. But the eye is just a standard blue eye. So the Dalek in this set is nothing, there's no difference on the Dalek. The difference is actually on the 7th Doctor figure, which, if I bring it up a bit close to camera, you can see he has a darker jumper, and I originally thought he had darker trousers as well, but it actually appears that the trousers are the same. So literally, the only difference, as far as I can see, on this Big Finish 7th Doctor variant is the fact that he's got a slightly darker jumper. That's literally the only difference, and as I said, that's not, you know, I'm not saying that as a bad mark against, Big Finish, because let's be honest here, right? Minus the postage costs, this set of 3 Big Finish ones cost $59.99. So let's round that up to £60. These B&M figures, these sets, are probably going to be around $19.99 each. So, in actual fact, Big Finish was not selling these at a higher price than the standard ones, because they haven't sold them individually, certainly, and I know that's annoyed some people, but it's worth pointing out and worth remembering that Big Finish haven't upped the price on these sets at all. They've actually, if anything, minus the postage costs, if they are $15.99 each. Hang on, I'm terrible at maths, so I just want to work this out on my calculator while I've got it here. So, right, if these standard B&M sets are produced at £19.99 each, so $19.99 times 3, they're going to be in stores for £59. You're going to have to spend £59.97 to get all 3 of the B&M sets in stores if they're sold at $19.99 each. Now, these Big Finish ones are sold, well, were sold, I should say, at £59.99. So that means that compared to the standard B&M ones, Big Finish have made 3p profit per set. Obviously, they've had to do the postage cost as well, but, you know, postage cost is postage cost. That's just what that is. But it's $59.99 compared to $59.97. So before people start saying Big Finish are just after the money and things like that, they've made 3p profit. You know, let's just bear that in mind. I want to make that point very clear while we're looking at these, because again, you know, I've had to pay money for that. I haven't had to pay money for these ones, you know, for the standard B&M ones. I've got given those for free, but the Big Finish ones I've paid money for, so I'm going to critique these a bit harshly. And when the first immediate thought is people are going to look at these and think, what? So I'm paying, so it's for $59.99 he gets a different coloured jumper, and it's like, well, no, for £19.90 something. I mean, well, hang on a minute. Let's work it out again. Sorry, I just want to do this. I want to get what I'm saying right here. So it's £59.99 divided by 3. So for £19.99.6667, I've paid basically less than 1p for a different variation of jumper. So yeah, my first initial thought, I have to say, before I got these, before we knew what the variations were, my first initial thoughts were, it seems quite excessive for some minor figure variations. But now I'm actually sitting here doing the maths, I realise I'm actually paying the same amount I would in store. Basically, in all seriousness, I'm paying for, you're paying this extra less than 1 pence extra, you're paying for a recoloured jumper and a special sticker. So if you're not fussed about those two little things, just buy this one, because this is the B&M one that's going to be worth it in its thousands of, you know, they're producing thousands of these. They're going to be in stores. Don't be fussed that you missed out on getting the Big Finish ones unless you are absolutely desperate to get a Big Finish exclusive for whatever reason. If it's just this that you wanted, wait a few more weeks and buy this, because it's basically the same thing. So here we have the War Doctor and Dalek Scientist. Again, the box, the Big Finish box, it's completely the same with the exception of the sticker. The figures themselves, as far as I can see, the War Doctor is identical. I'm not seeing any differences on the War Doctor. And the Dalek, the only difference that I'm seeing, it's still got the blue eye. Literally the only difference I'm seeing on the Dalek is the fact that this is the B&M one, this has got gold slats, this one has silver. As far as I can see, that's literally the only difference there. You know, again, I don't want to waffle on everything I've just said about the 7th Doctor one, about the differences in price and things like that, but again, just remember, they're not making a huge profit on these. It's literally all you're paying for here is you're paying less than a pence for some slightly different coloured slats. And let's be perfectly honest, if you wanted those slats, if you want the silver slats, just get the standard one and repaint the slats silver. And I've actually already said this in my previous review of this particular set, the actual standard B&M one. I've already reviewed these. I said that this is probably the one that's going to sell the least well, so these are going to be in abundance. So if you want to do, you know, a silver variant, do a silver variant, get this one and have it silver. He's actually also got, so I've just realised, he's also got silver rings around the gun box, but again, that's pretty much the only difference. I will say that it would have been nice, I think, although I know, because this is, again, I mentioned this in my main review, but I'll very quickly pick on this up now while I'm reviewing this set, is obviously people were questioning the fact that the Scientist Dalek, surely, as it's shown on the side here, surely it should be blue, but it has been confirmed that it is in fact meant to be silver. But if it was me, I think it would have been nice for B&M Big Finish to perhaps do a blue version of theirs, because as I said, the standard version I don't think is going to be one of the biggest sellers. I think it's going to sell, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to be the biggest seller. So I think if Big Finish had just made his this Dalek blue, blue metallic, and maybe repainted the War Doctor's waistcoat a slightly darker sort of burgundy brown, I think that certainly would have lifted this set, and I think in many ways it would have been certainly one that then people, I think, would have been certainly more popular for them to want to get this set. But again, you know, as I said, all they've done is just make a small repaint on the Dalek. They've not done anything massive, but it's still a nice looking set. It's still a nice one to have, and again, it looks nice, you know, when you compare between the two. But again, if you're just after the set, get the B&M one. The Big Finish one it's nice, but it's not really a huge amount of difference between the two. And now we get on to the 8th Doctor and Dalek Interrogator Prime. Again, there is really very little variation here. The main variations we've got here is the figure. If you can see here, this figure, the 8th Doctor has black boots, the B&M one has brown boots, and personally, I actually think the brown boots look better. And then the Dalek itself is pretty much absolutely identical, and this is difficult to capture on camera, but I'm going to try. I don't know how well you can see that, but the eye in the Dalek here is in fact a white light blue, whereas the standard one is a more sort of mid blue. That's literally the only difference on the Dalek, is a slight difference in the eye light. But whilst I've got these here, again, you know, I'm not going to go over the whole thing I've just said in the previous ones, but whilst I've got these here, here is a variation idea that I would just like to bring in whilst we're looking at the Dark Eyes 8th Doctor figure. Now I have here one of the spare. This is a Connor Temple, or Connor, I think it's Connor Temple, yes. Anyway, it's a Primeval Connor bag. And obviously a lot of people wished this was with the 8th Doctor figure, so just to put it on there, that's what it looks like with the bag. And I certainly think that if we ever get another re-release of the Dark Eyes 8 in future, having the bag would certainly be something that would look well, and just to get the colouring right as well, because obviously it's different colouring. I do have here my 2 Dark Eyes 8th Doctor customs which I've made, but just to bring them in and, you know, show the difference. I think, you know, I'm really happy with how my custom ones came out, because obviously he's got the closed jacket and the popped up collar. But when I look at the Dark Eyes official one next to these ones, even without the bag, if we take the bag back off, I know that the bag is certainly going to be one that people are going to be searching for, but even without the bag, I have to say I still think this looks absolutely brilliant. I really love the fact that the way they've reused the 9th Doctor's body to do this. I think it looks really superb. So I know that some people are sort of a bit, I don't really, you know, why have they used the 9th Doctor body? It was the easiest way to do it, because the whole point of these B&M sets is for them to make, for them to be able to use old bits to make new sculpts, and this is a perfect use of this, because as far as I can tell, there aren't really any other uses for a 9th Doctor body. So doing a Dark Eyes 8th Doctor out of a 9th Doctor body, personally, I think it's a stroke of genius. I think they've really done well to do that. But again, you know, going back to the actual boxes themselves, I just wanted to bring my custom ones in, partly to show them off, but also partly to make a point about saying that it would have been nice to see the bag. But again, you know, the Big Finish one is lovely. It's got some nice little variations. It's got different coloured boots in the dark. It's got a different colour dye. But if you want this set, just get the B&M one. I really don't want to. I want to make it absolutely clear here where I'm talking about these sets. The Big Finish sets, these ones, they are absolutely superb as collector's pieces. They're going to be highly sought after. They're probably going to be one of the rarest Doctor Who figures. And I really do think that they are brilliant looking sets. And I am not saying this against Big Finish. I want to make this absolutely clear, because obviously you can't get these now. They're sold out. And if you're annoyed that you've missed these, and this is going to sound harsh, and I want to apologise to Big Finish because I don't mean this to sound as harsh as it's going to. If you're worried that you missed these Big Finish sets, don't be. Because, and I'm so sorry to say this, these Big Finish sets, these Big Finish special ones, not the Big Finish set as a thing. I mean these specifically variant versions of the Big Finish ones. They're nothing special, and I really don't mean that in a negative way. They are lovely sets. Do not get me wrong, but as an overall set, whether it's the B&M one or the Big Finish one, as an overall set, they are superb. I think they are absolutely brilliant sets. They are going to sell like hotcakes, especially this 8th Doctor Dark Eyes version. But Big Finish's exclusive version, and I feel like I can say this because I have paid money for this, there could have been a little bit more done, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's, I'm not saying that as in saying that we've lost value for money, because as I've done previously, the money works out relatively the same. They've made very little actual profit off making these, so I'm not gonna, you know, if they charge an extra £10, if these had been, say, $29.99 each, then I would certainly have something to say about this, but they're not. They're still priced at the same sort of price that the B&M ones were. And so for that reason, I'm not gonna give them a hard time for that. But I think it's just a case of saying, if you did miss out on these, you really don't have to worry about it, because you've really not missed out on much. You've missed out on, okay, well, looking at it, you've missed out on a slightly different coloured jumper, some silver slats, and a Dalek eye and some different shoes. That's literally all you've missed out on if you haven't been able to get the Big Finish ones. You know, by no means am I giving them a bad review. I think they're great sets, and I think anyone who's got these is very lucky to have them. But if you missed out on them, don't make a big thing of it. Just get these ones, because these are going to be available in their thousands. What you've got inside is identical in terms of the sculpt. The only differences are minor paint applications. And anyone who can wield a paintbrush, not a difficult thing for you to do. So yeah, you know, these sets are great. They really are great. And I don't want to leave this on a sour note, so I would just like to say some more positive things about them in a minute, but it is just worth pointing out and saying Big Finish have done something amazing with these sets. But if you missed out on them, just get the standard B&M ones, because you're really not missing out on a huge amount if you didn't get these. But that brings to a close the end of my B&M 2019 Mega Review Big Finish exclusives. I just want to say, finally again, a huge thank you to Character Options and the PR companies for sending me out the advanced copies. And I want to give full credit to Big Finish for making these exclusive ones. I said at the start, I said I know, you know, a lot of people are going to be annoyed and angry and things like that, but as someone who's been lucky enough to be able to get them and got in there at the right time, they are absolutely fantastic sets. I certainly hope that Big Finish can continue to do things like this in future. I certainly hope that it is something that Big Finish do, because even if they don't do exclusive Big Finish special releases like this again, which I'm sure they will, but even if they don't, just the idea and the concept of the 2-packs being sold in B&M and things like that, it's a brilliant idea, because there's such a large history of expanded media of Doctor Who that B&M and Big Finish and Character Options together could really do some amazing stuff. And I don't know if how much of their own money Big Finish have put into these sets. Obviously, I'm sure they have, but if Big Finish are willing to put money into these sets and you know, produce new things and things like that, it's perfectly possible. It's perfectly possible if there was really a demand for it and they really put the money towards it. For all we know, in future we could see a set with a 6th Doctor and the Stainley Dalek, which is the stained glass Dalek, which I know is one that people would love to see. Obviously that would have to be an entirely new sculpt, but if Big Finish really do see how well this takes off, and our reaction to these sets is a good one, I certainly think it's something we could see more of in future, and I certainly hope it is, because these sets just look absolutely fantastic. You know, put out like this, they look absolutely brilliant, and I think it's certainly something that's going to take pride of place on many collectors' shelves. But that brings to a close the end of this video. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. And be sure to check out the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation and you can get involved. There's exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.